Podcast Playground. Hooray!
The Netflix show Squid Game was a hit when it was released in September of 2021. It featured 456 players engaging in children's games, and when they lose, they're murdered. The winner gets $45.6 billion. It became Netflix's most watched series and the most watched program in 94 countries, with more than 142 million member households and 1.65 billion viewing hours in its first 4 weeks. It was all fiction, of course, but it spawned merchandise, pop-up stores, a video game, real-life adaptions of certain games, and a replica of the red light, green light giant doll in several places. They announced a season 2 and a real-life Squid Game contest. I'm Lexi, and this is Delightfully Different. Netflix released Squid Game The Challenge, a reality competition, in November, where 456 real-life people compete in real-life Squid Games for a $4.56 million prize. Sans the murder, of course.
Hi, I'm Lexa Panadillo. I was a contestant for Netflix's biggest reality show, Squid Game The Challenge, where I competed for $4.56 million.
Now, it seems like you are saying it in a very specific way. Did they say to say it like that?
Yeah, they sent us an email of how to read out everything. But it is also cool. I mean, this really was the biggest reality show yet, with the most amount of money. I don't know if they'll replicate this again, just because it's such a big amount, This might be a one and done thing. But I guess we'll see. That's the exciting part. Since it's season 1, it's like, where will they go from here?
Right. And as of the taping of this podcast, we still have the very last episode to go. So I still don't know who won. But we know by now that you did not win. But what was your number?
So I'm player 217. And I believe I was the only one from Utah.
Okay.
I mean, it was a pretty big cast, but I haven't seen anyone around here that's talked about it. So I'm representing the Salt Lake City crowd.
I feel like I would have noticed also if someone else from around this area would have said something, and I haven't seen it either. Do you know if that's the order that they accepted people in? Do you know if you're like the 217th person that they said yes to, or was there any particular order to it?
I have no idea, but you know what? I'm going to tell myself that to make me feel better that I got halfway accepted in, but it was a long process. So I'm just not sure if maybe I was the one that sent in my paperwork the quicker amount.
Right.
But yeah, everyone that was around my group and like my tent was from all over. So I really don't know. It wasn't like alphabetical either. So.
Okay. Interesting. Because like on the regular TV show, there was it's the order of how they got the people to agree to it. So I was wondering if it was the same. Now, when you got there and you saw the guys in red, the guards, were they as intimidating and scary in person as they are on the television?
Yeah, I mean, because they don't talk to you, and everyone else, before you start the game, we weren't allowed to talk to anybody. So it's a really isolating experience, and it's hard for me too because I'm such a blabbermouth. I love talking with everybody.
Yeah.
But getting there, they were just very adamant that they want the relationships to be built on TV and have it recorded and filmed. Okay. So yeah, they're scared to look at just even on TV. I mean, it's people in uniforms that aren't talking and their faces are covered, I think is just naturally intimidating by human nature of just knowing, oh, okay, well, this is what they're doing. And here I am.
Did you attempt to say anything to them or anything, or were they just really in character? Did you try and...
Oh, yeah, I would just be like, hi.
No response.
You can, smile, try and make them laugh. But yeah, no, their staff, I'm assuming they were people that were hired to do that. So. Right.
Like the Royal Guard, people try to mess
they're just trying to keep their job and get paid. So yeah, just like the Royal Guard, which is ironic because we filmed this in London, so I would have loved.
You never really get a chance to tell where it's filmed as you're watching the TV show because you guys are doing these games. Had you ever been there before?
No, I'd never left the country, so this was my first time. So.
Oh, that's exciting.
It was intense because they sent a driver to pick me up, like a big SUV. I was like, oh, I feel so special. Drove us to the airport. I had a layover in Denver. And then from Denver, it was all the way to London. And I think the way they set it up, they had anticipated we could sleep on the plane to, get rest and prepare for the time change difference, but I could not sleep.
No.
One, it's the excitement, but also the nervousness you see on like the flights of where the plane's at in the world. And I was just staring at it crossing the ocean. And every hour would go by. I'm like, we're still over the ocean. Like, when do we see land? And so that just made me a little nervous. I didn't think I would be so anxious about it, but I didn't sleep at all. And it's hard.
Did you have to like get a passport for this? Was this like your first passport and everything too?
Yeah. So, but I luckily did have an active passport just because I was in casting for The Circle, which is another Netflix reality show. And I'd gotten pretty far in that one, but at the time I did not have a passport and COVID was kind of calming down, but still pretty active, especially with traveling. So I flew to Denver because they do like same day passports.
Right. Yeah.
Like a couple weeks after they wanted it. And I go in, I pay the money. I finally get the physical one. I send it in like a few days later. And by then they're like, yeah, you've taken too long. So, luckily, I had an active one that was set and ready to go for this because I probably would have missed the opportunity.
Right. Absolutely. That is lucky. Now, what kind of a waiver did you have to sign? Because some of these games they might take a toll on you physically and mentally.
Yeah, definitely a mixture of both. Well, before we even signed anything and got more into casting, they had us speak with a psychologist just to go over any sort of mental issues we might encounter. Are you okay with that isolation? Do you take regular medication? You're going to be away from family. Like, are you going to be okay being away from your kids or your spouse or your dog? Are you going to have an emotional breakdown from that, which is good. I'm so glad they checked that.
Yeah.
And we went and got a physical done, needed to be signed by a licensed physician, send that in. And then our contract was very long, but specified some of the conditions we might be exposed to. And you have to agree yes or no that I'm willing to deal with it. I didn't anticipate how cold it would be the first game with red light, green light.
Right.
Because it'll be a little cold, but it's London. Like Utah's cold,
Right.
But yeah, no, it was intense, but it was
they got a wet cold there. We have a dry cold in Utah. I'm sure it was a lot colder.
I came home and my skin felt what I can only imagine is like a sunburn.
Right.
It's my skin just peeling off and my lips are red. And I was like, oh my gosh. So now I know if I ever want to go back and actually travel and visit and explore more, because I didn't see much of London.
I was going to say, did you get to see London while you were there, or was it just to the game and then back after you were done?
Yeah, so they took us from the airport. We had a driver again take us to the hotel, which is Tower Bridge. And the viewpoints. If you've seen like the Spider-Man movie with that blue tower bridge.
Yeah.
Like at the end, I think it's in a lot of movies where they're trying to depict it being in London.
Right.
So I had a perfect view of that bridge and it was gorgeous. And I had the sunset and they have like water surrounding the hotel. So you'll see like Uber boats.
Oh, that's cool.
There's big boats that like travel the food. So that was beautiful. And I got to see a little bit of the neighboring places as I'm going there. But that was very much what I was limited to. I'd stopped by a pub the night before our flight took off, just from where all the hotels were. There was local stuff. So some of us castmates went there to, catch up, talk about our experience.
Right.
And then that was it. I was on
That's all the
day. Yeah, unfortunately. But you know what? I still got to see a little bit of it and it was worth it.
I'm sure. It sounds like such a fun experience. What year did you guys film this? Was this 2022 that you filmed it?
No, so we filmed this year in January.
Oh, it turned around quickly.
Yeah. The process, though, I sent in my audition tape summer of last year.
Okay.
And leading up until filming was like one thing after the other, multiple Zoom calls. You meet with the agent, you meet with the Netflix executive. They pass it on to the producers, to see if they actually want you. And then, like I said, the physical, they want the mental done. They want to make sure you have your COVID vaccines. Are you legally allowed to leave? Like, do you have a warrant? They did like a background check, things like that. So that alone was like a year and a half.
And they're doing it with 400 and over 450 something people because they had to have backups. I'm
from
sure.
all over the world, not just the United States. So they had Brits. I met someone from Australia, a couple people from like Dallas, New York. So it was great because I've never been to that side of the country really. And so it was nice to kind of meet people with a different culture because you kind of feel like you're in a bubble. I've traveled a little bit, but it's been mostly around Utah, nothing too international. So that was what I loved because it's just a memory you get to hold on for dear life. That's all you really get. You can't take pictures of anything. So
right. I mean, okay, I'm going to get there. So you get there. The first game that you have is Red Light, Green Light, which was the first game on the TV show as well. So that probably wasn't too much of a surprise for you. How big was that giant girl in person? Was she as humongous and intimidating in person as she is on the TV?
Yes, Netflix did insane on replicating everything. I mean, I'm seeing the other games and I'm just in awe because they did it so perfectly well. I mean, down to our tracksuits. They're not that thick, obviously, because we needed to get out in Red Light, Green Light. They're trying to cut 456 people down to like a little over 100 or 200. So yeah, it was massive. The paintings on the side were ginormous. It was just like a big TV set. And that initial scene when you see in the first episode of everyone going, was just pure shock because we're intense prior to filming. We're cold, we're tired. Some of us haven't really eaten that much. The food wasn't that good. It's reality TV though, and it's a competition game. So I wasn't expecting 5 stars. So you're already kind of not at your best mental state. And then you walk in and see that and it's just like, wow.
Overwhelming and huge. Now, a spoiler alert, you got eliminated during Red Light, Green Light?
I did, yes. I tried my best. But part of what was so hard is, and I've talked a little bit about this just on my social media, is I don't think they depicted very well how long it actually took in that filming. And, I could come up with a million excuses. Like I broke my foot 4 months prior, so I was healing from that. I already don't like being cold. But each round of that game was about 20 to 40 minutes of filming, of us holding that position, the song going where she's like, red light, green light, you run, stop, and then you're holding it because they're trying to get 456 people to see if they moved.
It makes it seem like it's a 5-minute game on the TV show, but I had read that you guys were out there for 9 hours doing this.
Yeah, so I didn't have a watch in there, but it was roughly around that long, and it's cold. I mean, if you look in the episode and look at people's noses, everyone's running with their hands in their pockets. It was just very, very cold. But again, we knew that going in that we were going to be exposed to something like that. We just didn't know when or what type of game. And then also just holding that position for so long. My favorite part is that sweet girl of just where she squats down because you're not thinking in that moment. Your legs are tired, you're exhausted. And she goes, why did I do that? And then she sits down. It's like, you're in so much pain at that point. I can only imagine how long she actually tried to hold it.
I read it was 15 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes in is when she gave up. But when you're watching it on TV, it looks like she gave it 20 seconds and then gave up. And I was like, she looks like she's in great shape. She can do a squat longer than that. But I could have done it for
that amount of money. You bring out all the willpower from your ancestors and beyond trying to get through. But I would have loved to play it longer. I think part of my issue was I had been playing for so long that I sat down kind of crisscross applesauce with my hands on the ground. And my hands were, again, the floor's freezing.
Right.
My hands were so cold. I think I moved my hand without even realizing it, just from the cold and my bum sitting, perpendicular to the ground. That's my regret, is I wish I would have just stayed on my feet and that would have gotten me all the way. I would have loved to be more up in the front. I was in the center middle, so not very front in the front or in the back, but I'm 4'10".
Right.
So I'm tiny. And to me, it was like, I don't want to be in front. People already bump into me in my everyday life because they just don't see me. I'm not at eye level. I was like, I don't. So my mindset going in, I was like, I don't want somebody to bump into me because they literally can't see me and we're all running.
Right.
If I'm in the middle, it spreads out enough. I'll let the first batch go and just book it, and then we'll scatter. And we did, but I wish I would have just been up front and booked it as quickly as I can, because those people all, for the most part, were led into the next round. So
Right.
I should have thought about it better. But you know, you live and you learn. I don't dwell on it now. I was pissed royally. Afterwards, obviously, you go through your head of like, oh, I could have done this. I should have done that. I'm coming back a loser, and my son has to think I couldn't play a stupid game. But looking back now, I mean, that trip changed my life in more ways than one. And this experience is just incredible. So I was thankful for it at the end. I was like, you know what? This won't be the last time. I know I'll do more stuff again. And I've got a chance for who knows what else. I mean, the possibilities are endless at any age. That's what's so exciting. You see people throughout the games from like early 20s to 70s, 60s.
And some of the old folks lasted a really long time. And as an old folk myself, I was very proud of them.
Yeah. And I think that's what was so exciting about watching this is you don't see representation from all different backgrounds in life trying to play a game. It's usually like 20 to 40. You think of like Big Brother, Survivor. They don't cast those older demographics because I think they think, oh, they won't last.
Right.
I mean, the final three is all different ages and backgrounds. Right. So it just goes to show you can't count those people out, and they make good TV. So that was what I loved, is just seeing the diversity all around.
Now, when everybody gets shot in that game in particular, but throughout the rest of the series as well, it's a dramatic death. The people fake this, and I can see everybody kind of laugh a little bit before they do it. Did they tell you to dramatize the getting shot and pretend like you were actually shot?
I think where all of our mindset was like, well, this is my last chance to be seen. You know, like I'll just fade.
So they didn't tell people to do it. You guys just did it.
I don't remember if they honestly told us to or not. I think maybe as later episodes got on, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, it's so hard for me because I'm like, oh, like, also people thought they were shooting us with like paintball guns.
I thought that at first too.
Yeah, so it's not paintball guns. It's like a blood pack.
Okay.
That you wear under the shirt.
Gotcha.
And after they scanned us, looked at all the cameras, there was drones going up above you and passing by you. I mean, they got into it to really make it as fair as possible.
Okay.
And then it pops. I didn't have anything dramatic, so you don't see me die. I just was kind of like, are you kidding me? Again, I was pissed. I was like, I flew all the way here. I'm missing work. Gosh. And then I just sat there and then just went, oh, laid on the side. I was like, I guess I'm done.
Oh, what did it hurt when the thing went off? Was it painful at all?
No, it just scares you more than anything because you're hoping it's not going to pop, and then it just It's not even that loud. I mean, we have the mics and editing; they can make it louder than it was.
Yeah,
it was loud enough that you could tell people next to you were either in or out.
Okay, gotcha.
So, yeah,
it was many.
And it's sticky and it smelled a little bit, but it's just like chemicals and stuff. I don't think it was like an adamant thing where they're like, let's put disgusting stuff on their chest. But yeah, the whole bus ride back to the hotel, it was like an 1.5-hour bus ride back to get your stuff. And I'm just sitting there with it on my chest. I'm like, this is disgusting.
So you get shot and you're there playing dead. And then did you have to lay there until the game was over? Until everybody made it?
For a little bit longer, I would say like an hour-ish. And then they stopped and said, if you're dead, please get up. We'll have you come back to your tent. relax, gather stuff, wait for the shuttle, and then that's when we went back.
So they haul you off there. They give all the people that have been killed already, and then what? They take you back to the hotel.
Yeah, so they shuttled us back to the hotel. They wanted us. We didn't get to keep anything, so I don't have my tracksuit. Some people took like their toothbrush, which was like a wood toothbrush with bristles on the end.
Okay.
Something I think you would imagine would be in like prison.
Okay.
You know, so you can't harm yourself or others. Some people I think took that or like a tag with their number on it. I didn't grab anything. I was very much like a rule follower. I kind of wish I took something. But we do get headshots, which was nice. Mine, though, again, if you see on any of my social medias, I, of course, posted it everywhere, looks very similar to what I would imagine a mugshot would be. I've never been arrested, but I'm so sure I think the photographer was trying to center my photo to make it so like the white background is full. Yeah. And it just cuts off right here. And then they were like, be mean. I'm like, I don't mean about what? And I'm just deadpan staring at the camera. And I was like,
you look like you're going to kick someone's ass. It's really fun. And I wondered if they told you to look like that because you all look pissed off.
Yeah. I mean, some of the people we took, so it was like an angry one, silly one, like one where you would want people to know kind of your personality.
Okay.
I'm very much like a rock metal person. So I was like, I have a photo like that. I wanted that one because I was like, that one at least is cute and fun. Like I can show my grandchildren one day. But yeah, they just sent me that one headshot that looks like a mugshot. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try and show my son and he's going to just laugh because it's ridiculous.
I'm Lexi, and this is Delightfully Different. Today, I'm talking with Lexa, who is a contestant on Squid Game, The Challenge on Netflix.
Now, you said that you were really cold out there, and the conditions were a lot colder than you were expecting. And it is obvious when I went and rewatched episode number 1, looking for you. Everyone freezing. I can't see the hands in the pocket. I see the nose. I had read that some people were getting together to sue over the cold conditions and that some people were almost hypothermic. How do you feel about that?
So I talked a little bit about it on my TikTok. The big thing for me is I don't want to like invalidate someone's experience. There was such a big cast.
Right.
I'm sure maybe some people suffered. We're in like a group chat. Some of us were talking about it. I think one person did like faint from locking her knees.
Okay.
But we go into this, we all signed a really, really long contract. And it's $4.56 million. I don't get it. If you want to be on another show, I think you're kind of just blacklisting yourself. Right. And the thing is Netflix didn't pay us. This was an experience to leave the country, be on the biggest show, and try and win $4.56 million. They're not paying me to be like, oh, kiss my butt and tell me how great everything is. I got my own beef with Netflix with their monthly subscription prices. Like, it's just, for me, I think it's so hard to conceptualize trying to do that when, for the most part, we're all okay. We were asked a bunch of times through all those Zoom meetings.
Right.
I don't know anyone personally that's suing. I think if they are, it's maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 out of such a big cast.
Right. I hope
they're okay. I mean, I can't imagine, and it's hard fainting and you're frustrated. And in the moment, I can imagine being so pissed and scared because you're in a foreign country and you pass out. But there was medics there. The medics came and got those people. I heard them. One passed out like kind of in the back of me where I was like, oh, shoot, is she okay? And the medics being like, it's okay. Like you locked your knees, you know. Again, it sucks, but they did it kind of to themselves. No one, we didn't put you in a headlock and make you pass out. So I hope they're okay, but I don't get it.
I had also read about everybody had chapped lips, and you were one of them that your lips got really chapped while you were out there because it was so cold.
Oh, yeah. My lips were raw by the time I got home.
Well, and I read the rumor that's going around is that everybody took the condoms and was using the lube on the condoms because they didn't provide you guys with any chapstick.
Yeah. So a couple of my friends that went farther in the games I've talked to. Yeah. So we did that for like 2 or 3 days. And then they all got Vaseline in like a little tin. Again, they're trying to prepare stuff for such a big cast. I don't think they did it intentionally, like maybe a little bit, like, oh, if they have chapped lips, they'll want to go home, and that's one less person. Because the way people got to look at it, each person in this cast is worth $10,000.
Right.
So I would have done that. I would have done anything. I would have used my the dirt on the ground. I snuck some Vaseline in before red light, green light. We were in our individual tents, and I saw someone had it on the table, and I was like, I need that. And so I put it like in my pinky. And I was like, I'm just going to have it there for later. And I just rubbed it on a little bit. But after so long, I mean, Vaseline won't even save you.
Do anything.
You run out. Yeah.
And
genius ingenuity, though.
Were you guys not allowed to bring toiletries, makeup, hair product, or anything like that with you? Because it looked like you and every other, mainly female, contestants were not wearing anything. And it looks like you are all dolled up and very pretty right now. And it looks like you wear some makeup on occasion.
Yeah. I mean, I'm Latina. I can't go without my eyeliner. But they, they said, we want you to look like exactly how you would look like if you were fresh out of the shower. Don't do your hair. Don't do your makeup. At the time, I didn't have braces. Just like bring your little things that we gave you in your bag, which is a toothbrush, some deodorant, and this black pick that had like two different sides. One was like a regular pick, one was more like a comb, and then this one down here was a different one. And that's it.
And nothing. You weren't allowed to have a phone or anything with you either, right? All
No, they locked up all of our electronics back at the hotel with our number on it. And you're like, you'll get this back when you're done.
Was that difficult for you, not having your electronics?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a millennial. I didn't grow up with tech. I was very much in the age where like I didn't have internet as a kid. But I mean, it's my phone. I'm in the coolest experience. I wanted to like take pictures of everything in my tracksuit. But some people got caught doing that, and I believe got sent home because again, you signed an NDA from a production company, and they specifically tell you, we don't want people to leak this stuff.
Right.
Lock it up. It was only like a day and a half prior to us actually filming with other people where we could finally talk that I didn't have my phone.
Right.
It was also just hard because, again, the time zone difference was hard. Like I'm trying to put myself to bed when it's usually like 5 or 6 at home. And I'm just like, the nice thing was though, is they did let us watch television. So I watched like these British TV shows. They were all different. I think I watched like their version of Love Island. Or maybe started there. So that was entertaining. And then I tried to take myself to bed. But again, they had like security outside of our doors. One, for safety reasons, but two, they don't want people talking to other people. Like, so they don't want one person going from their room to across the hall. Because we're all in the same hotel. So they don't want people like intermingling. So,
well, I had read that some people hooked up and got kicked off because they hooked up.
I heard that rumor too. Yeah. I heard it. Some, I think, with each other or with the staff.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I'm like, way to lowball them.
You have almost 500 people there. Someone's down to hook up.
Like the international love. I didn't go in. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't see anybody. I had a lot of friends after. Like I said, we went to the pub after. I don't drink anymore. But we all went like before our flight took off. And that's when we finally got to like talk to each other.
Right.
I can't imagine trying to talk to anybody else though, because I was like, I'm not gonna get kicked off before I even get the chance. Like I did get out the first round, who cares? But I at least got to do it.
You did, and those
like this was the worldwide casting. So out of all those people, I got to go on. I'm still gonna be thankful for even getting the opportunity at the end of the day.
How did you find out that you made it? Did they call you or email you or video you?
Yeah, they did. They called me and it initially went to my voicemail because I'm the type of person that doesn't answer unknown calls.
Yeah, me too.
If you really need me, you can text me, or if you need me and it's emergency, leave a voicemail. So I was in the restroom at my job and I left my phone on the desk. And they called me twice, and my coworker was like, someone's calling you, like they need you. And I look and I was like, oh, this is a UK number. And so then I call them back. They're like, can you please go somewhere quietly, like private? And I'm just like running to my car, calling them back and screaming. I was like, this is sad. No. So
it felt probably pretty awesome to get that phone call telling you made it.
Yeah, I mean, I work in corporate America, so that just made my day better. It was like a Monday or Tuesday when they called. I'm like, okay.
And you've got children, one child?
I do. I have a 9-year-old son, so he'll be 10 in April. So
what was his reaction to mom getting on this show?
He was super excited, and then I think a little nervous that I was going to be gone for potentially a few weeks. Because we've never spent that long apart, and be gone without you being able to talk to me.
Right. Yeah.
Like you're getting sent away to like the military or like prison because you're just disconnected from the world. And so there was a little bit of that. But as time kept going on, we weren't allowed to tell anybody that we were filming the show. But of course, I'm going to tell my child in hopes to not traumatize him that I like abandoned him. So he was excited. He loved it. He still talks about it. He's like, my mom was on Netflix, but she lost. I'm like, that's okay. You can throw the butt in there.
Now you said that the food was kind of gross. You probably didn't have that many meals with them because you were eliminated so quickly. When you said the food is gross, did you mean before the game started?
Yeah, I mean, all the way up until filming, we got a little bit of snacks prior to when the game started, but like the food on the British Airways wasn't good.
British food
I think
is kind
it's
of
also
gross.
just my ignorance as an American. Like I've never been there, so I don't have a sense of what their food is.
I don't think they do either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky that I season everything, like even a turkey sandwich, like I put a little oregano on there, like I just make my food different.
Yeah.
At the hotel, they gave us time cards of when we were allowed to go get our food. The food at the hotel was not good. It was like two British people in their culture eat beans on toast for breakfast.
Yeah.
And they had that and then like big slabs of bacon. That was more raw than I like. I like my bacon crispy. Like I have this food meat anxiety of like if I feel like I can hear the animal making a noise from looking at it, like I can't eat it.
Okay.
It just looked too much like a pig, and I was just like, oh my gosh. The bread was just everything. The water was in a box. That was the best thing I had was the boxed water.
Like in a juice box type of situation, like a
kind of like, so we have them here where they're more economic friendly. Like the bottles are made out of like cardboard from recycled cardboard, and then it just says like British spring water on it.
Weird, huh?
Yeah, and they don't believe in ice, so you just have to have it like at room temperature. And I'm a water snob. Things that just, you would get over, but it was more of just a culture shock to me, not realizing like, oh, they don't have like an ice machine in this hotel.
Right.
Drink room temp water out of a box.
What is something that about the show that maybe the viewer would never know? What's something behind the scenes that none of us saw that we would never know?
I think the biggest thing for me, just from my perspective, was the length of time it took to film Red Light, Green Light.
Yeah.
It was filmed in London, England. And
when you guys filmed Red Light, Green Light, did you go directly from where you were sleeping to the set, or did they have to drive you there? Like where the people
they put us all on buses at like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And then shuttled us to, I believe it used to be an old military base that they restructured into the set. But that was like an hour and a half trip. We still couldn't talk to each other. And then we went in and there was tents with like a small heater fan for the other employees. That's where we finally got to get all of our tracksuits and our ink packs on, our mics. And then, they filmed us walking in with that complete shock of, wow, this is what the games are.
You never got to actually see the sleeping quarters though, did you?
No, I wish. And, I had this whole thing set and I just wish I did. But you know what? It wasn't meant to be. I believe in divine timing, and I clearly was meant to go to the experience. I'm really big in manifesting. Here's the thing. If you're trying to be on reality TV, you need to be more specific. I wrote a million times last year in my meditation, on my journals, on TVs, on vision boards. I will be on Netflix. That was it. Not that I will get far, that I will go win money. Just I will be on Netflix. And so, that happened, but I did not do anything impactful. You only will see my chin.
I saw it and I took a picture.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Oh, this is a good strong chin. A lot of my friends just took pictures of my chin and were like, that's a good chin.
It looks really good. Well,
yeah, that's the only screen time I got.
I only have 3 minutes and 49 seconds left. And I want to mention that something really good came out of this for you as you got sober. It sort of kickstarted your sobriety.
I did. Yeah.
Congratulations. It must have been difficult to go across the sea and have to do this bizarre thing with all these people and not have any drinks. How did that end up helping you?
So I actually drank, the last time I drank was that trip. Like I said before, we went to the pub. A lot of us had drinks. I had stopped by my friend's house in Denver, drank with her for several days, and then came home and didn't have. My last day was when I finally came home. I went to bed, woke up that morning, and haven't drank since. It was a long time drinking, and I have had a beautiful journey, and I'm so thankful for it. I'm about 10 months and 6 days sober. So
congratulations. What a cool way to end that and start your new journey. I think that's really cool that you did that. And I know you got a radio show on the weekends that I didn't get a chance to mention. How can people listen to you?
Yeah, so 92.5 The Beat. You can go to 925thebeat.com or download our app. I'm on every weekend morning from 10 to 2 on Saturdays and 9 to 12 on Sundays.
And we can follow you on social media?
Yeah, they're all the same. Lexa Penadillo. So Penadillo.
And what is going to be the next thing you try out for? What are we going to see you on next on any sort of a reality show?
Let's hope a dating one. I mean, I've been single for a very long time, so maybe I'll find my partner.
I hope that you make it on, and I'll be voting for you. If it's audience participation voting, I'm voting for you, girl.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time. It was really nice to meet you, too.
Links to all of Lexa's socials can be found wherever this is posted. I loved the original Squid Game. I watched episode 1 of Squid Game, The Challenge, and I probably wouldn't have watched the whole thing if I wasn't interviewing someone on the show. Without the murder, it was a little slow for me, and there were so many contestants that it was hard to get to know anyone as a viewer. My favorite part was watching them get shot. They did change up some of the games for the competition. For example, there was a life-size version of Battleship. Squid Game The Challenge has been renewed for season 2, and they're currently casting for it at squidgamecasting.com. The fictional Squid Game has also been renewed for season 2. They even have a trailer out for it. No exact date has been set, but it should be out before 2024 ends. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Delightfully Different. Coming up next Thursday, I talk to Justin, an actor, comedian, and line captain during the SAG-AFTRA strike. If you or someone you know lives life differently, email me, lexiontheradio@gmail.com. That's Lexi on the radio @gmail.com. Or go to delightfullydifferentpodcast.com. Until next Thursday, have a delightful week.